Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are celebrating the success of a year-long hard work, lots of achievements, joy, pleasure, and lots of changes, new building, new faces, new leaders. It's my pride and my privilege to introduce Steve Murley. Steve, you came on this show, the first show this year, and you promised us that you will come the last show to report to the community, because I know how much you respect this community, and you insist on communicating your message to the community. And thank you for doing this. I know it's a very hectic time now. We are May, let us say, 23rd, and we'll be on the air maybe the 25th. We'll be on YouTube the 24th. So this is a very hectic time and difficult time because people are getting ready to wrap up everything and graduation and all that. And you are on top of the administration here, lots of tasks, responsibilities, but you cut from your time to be with us tonight. We appreciate that so much on behalf of our audience, on behalf of the staff here. We are wrapping up the year of achievements, and I will let you talk to the community.
Well, this is a great time of the year. It's my favorite time of the year. There's so much to celebrate. We'll have graduations coming up at 3 high schools in the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Tuesday. It's such a delight to be able to participate in those graduation ceremonies and watch the students as they finish their journey with us in the district. It's also a great time of the year for other recognitions, and one of those which I'd like to highlight is the recent report done by Newsweek magazine where they talk about the 1,000 top high schools in the country. And from a perspective standpoint, I think it's important for people to realize that there are 14,000 school districts in the United States. Many of those school districts, like ours, have more than one high school. And for both of our high schools, both of our comprehensive high schools, both City High and West High, to be ranked in the top 1,000 high schools in the country is a marvelous achievement, and I think that's directly attributable to our staff and the work that they do with our students, to those students themselves, to their parents, to the community that supports them, and just what a wonderful recognition for all the hard work that goes into public education here in Iowa City. So just so pleased to be able to share with the community the fact that both of those schools have been recognized for the work that they're doing. So a great opportunity for recognition outside of Iowa City for the hard work being done in Iowa City. As you said, it's the end of the school year, and we have worked very hard this year to try to increase communication. I had the chance just recently to meet with our Comprehensive School Improvement Committee. That's a committee composed of students, of staff, community members, administrators, and we talk about the work that we're doing to improve the school district. And we focused on several objectives last year as part of that committee, and then our job this year was to bring those to fruition and actually do the work that they charged us to do as part of that committee. And one of those was communication. We spent quite a bit of time at that meeting talking about the success we've had this year and trying to get the message out. This show's a great example of that, but also over the internet, ensuring that we're doing a better job communicating with our parents and our community. Over the telephone, we just had an issue that developed. The U.S. Department of Agriculture notified us that we had an issue with lettuce in our schools, and so we were able to immediately activate the phone calling tree that we have and the email system that we have so that parents could be alerted of that immediately once we knew of that. Just a couple examples of where we're trying to make sure that we're staying in constant contact with our stakeholders in the community. We recognize the importance of making sure that that contact isn't just one way, but that it's two-way. One of the things that one of the community members brought up was that they had just completed the physical education survey that's part of our curriculum review process. Again, we welcome that input. It helps us do a better job serving the students and serving the community by making sure that we're communicating to the community about what we're doing, but we're also asking them for feedback on the work that's going on inside the school district.
Last week, Steve, we had in your place, we had two community members who are classified. They don't classify themselves as opposition, but they are considered opposition to sometimes the policy of the district or the board in particular. I was delighted to hear their input about your efforts, both of them. And they see in you really a promising future for this place. And I will quote probably Judy Van Dyke saying that your priority is kids. And then after that, everything comes as secondary. Number one is the kids and kids' welfare and kids' safety, and kids' education, kids' character, emotional stability and health, physical fitness and so forth. And I think she was right when she mentioned that. And I was delighted to see a person who is really used to be a bullet against the administration saying something like this about the new superintendent. 1 year, I think you have been now for 2 years, right?
Yes.
Which is a very short time.
It is.
I mean, if we look, it sounds too long, but as a matter of fact, it's 9 months plus 9 months, 18 months that you're here. That's not a very long time, but the achievement is enormous in all frontiers. And I'm happy that I'm retired, so people will say, "Oh, you know, he's, you know," you know what the term that I would not use, but I'm retired, so I don't have any reason except to express what I feel among the parents, because I'm a parent, I'm a consumer. Steve, I want you to move on and tell me about things that I hear about. You think a lot about the infrastructure and how the infrastructure and the technology are connected, and the interconnectedness between them and so forth. Can you address this to the community?
Yeah, and I think I'll touch on a couple of points, and I'll go back and address a couple of the comments that you made. I had the good fortune to spend a good part of today in an elementary school. I try to get out to at least a couple schools a week, spend a half a day in there in classrooms. And I was trying to explain to elementary students what I do. And after several kids asked me if I was the president, and I explained to them that I'm not the president, and I told them I'm a superintendent, and they don't have any context for it, so they're not sure what a superintendent does. And I tell them I'm like the quarterback on the football team. You can have a wonderful quarterback, but if you don't have 10 supporting cast members, you're not going to win a football game. And I see myself in that role. I'm one member of a team, and we have a wonderful team, and that includes our staff members, it includes my administrative team. And so when you talk about the things that we're achieving in a short period of time, I'm part of that process, but that process is much bigger than me. And it's inclusive of our team, which is everyone from our board members down to our support staff in the district. And from an operational standpoint, you mentioned that the kids come first. The foundation of the work that we do in the classroom often happens outside the classroom, and it is that infrastructure that's behind the work that we do, the buildings, the technology. And we recognized there were some concerns, and so we reached outside for some expertise. In particular, we looked to Dell and we looked to Sinesi Associates. We had both of those groups come in, and they looked at our operational structure, not our curriculum and instruction, not the teaching and learning piece, but what we did to support teaching and learning in the district.
That was a brave decision, right?
It's good to have outside feedback. It's good to have somebody with an objective lens take a look at the work that you're doing. It can be difficult because they can come in and point out areas that you may be comfortable with, you may be complacent with, but at the same time may need to be challenged or pushed. The good news is that they, in both instances, came in and helped us understand where we could do a better job helping students in the teaching and learning environment by building a better infrastructure. And we're doing that on a regular basis right now, a monthly basis. We're reporting out to the public through our operational report card on how we're improving our infrastructure, how we do the work that we do. And we are also working as part of that process to improve our technology infrastructure. One of the things that we discovered through an audit was that our technology, I often think in analogies, and the one that I've been using with people when I talk about technology is, if you think about our district like an ice cube tray, we had varying levels of water in the various compartments. We had some schools that had a lot of technology, some that didn't have very much, some that had fiber network with high-speed internet, and some that didn't. In most cases, we had very narrow bandwidth. And so regardless of whether the school was on the fiber network or not, the internet was slow. I spent a good portion of Monday afternoon in 2 computer labs at City High. And I talked to the students about frustration that they have with how long it can take in some instances when there's a lot of kids on the computers doing things simultaneously to actually access websites to get to the information that they need. That doesn't help teaching and learning. And so again, that's an infrastructure piece that we need to address, so that when teachers and students use a computer lab, use a computer in their classroom, that they're not thinking about that at all. They're thinking simply about the lesson, because the computer works seamlessly. They have adequate technology, hardware in the classroom. They have adequate access to the internet. Things work quickly so that it doesn't impede the teaching and learning process. We're really excited because next fall, our goal is to have that ice cube tray level. In terms of the fiber access, in terms of computers in the classroom. And by doing that, we hope to provide a more uniform educational experience for students throughout the district.
One of the main observations that I had watching you operate, Steve, is the fact that your support to women role in leadership is not just sloganeering or talk. You did it. I mean, you really opened the door for especially female professionals to be in the position of leadership. And this probably an observation that hasn't been talked about a lot. But if you look at our map now, you see a lot of the very important positions occupied by women for the first time. It used to be, you know, the good old boys, you know, and white-collar ties guys, you know. And now it is young women. And that's really amazing, and you did this quickly, very quickly.
Education's changing, and if you look at the people that are in the classrooms teaching, if you look at the people that are pursuing graduate degrees and moving into building administration roles, assistant principal roles, dominated in many instances by women today. My job is always to find the best person for any position that's open. I don't think gender plays a role in that, in the sense that I don't think that you select a role because of the gender of the person who's applying for the job. I think you look for the talent, you look for the skill set, you look for the personality that's going to meld with your team and be able to work effectively in the community. And I think that when you do that, and when you select for talent, and you hire the best possible people that you can, I think everything else takes care of itself. And we've been blessed to have a wonderful talent pool for many of the positions that we've hired. And I would say that rather than by design, but by virtue of the skill set of the people who applied for the jobs, we've been able to hire some very successful women who come to us from other places where they've been successful, and they're able to translate those skills and those achievements into good work for the district, and we all benefit from that.
Right. No doubt that being in administration for females is essential, critical. We have the stereotypical system in education was, yeah, females are to teach kids, but males are the one who make the decision. And now you put this equality into action.
I'd make another observation, which is that across the country, it's increasingly difficult for school districts to hire male elementary teachers. Not a problem for us in Iowa City. We have some wonderful male elementary teachers, all the way down to kindergarten. And we know that students respond to their teacher when there are things that they see in common, whether it's gender, race, ethnicity, language. And by being able to diversify our teaching force at all levels, I think we provide opportunities for students to find role models in the people that lead their classrooms. And again, I think we're very blessed in Iowa City. We really are a destination school district. There are people as teachers, as administrators that seek opportunities to make mid-career changes and come here to work with our team, to work with our teachers, to work with our administrators. Very blessed to be in that position. And again, that helps us as we go through that talent identification process, because we often have an incredibly deep pool of applicants regardless of the position that we're hiring for.
One of the, because you know, we are running here a talk show rather than a board meeting, right? So one of the points that were raised with the parents in our last episode was a comparison made between you and some of your predecessors. And this parent said something that means that you respect your board very much, but you don't let the board control your decision. I mean, yes, they are the directors, but you are not totally under their mercy, you know. And some of your predecessors were just doing what the board wanted. And I don't want really to put you in a position that you can make judgment about this, but I'm just transferring it to you as one of the observations that, yes, you can respect the people, but eventually the decision, the executive decision is mine. I will consider yours. And I think that that was one of the observations that this parent made. Yeah.
When I work with my administrative team, one of the things that I tell them is that when we sit down collectively around the table, and from a symbolic standpoint, the table that we sit around is square. It doesn't have a head or a foot. But when we sit around the table, that all opinions should be brought forward and should be discussed, and no opinion weighs more than another. And that by doing that, and by challenging each other on a regular basis, we'll come up with better decisions. We'll come up with decisions that have fewer blind spots in them, fewer weaknesses in them, and that really requires a level of honesty and a level of trust. And I'd also equate that to the relationship with the board. I think that having that level of honesty and that level of trust goes both ways. And I think when you have that, we can then have good discussions that, again, lead to good decisions. So whether that's my interactions with the board or my interactions with my administrative team, having that level of openness, that willingness to second-guess yourself and allow others to do so also, I think in the end leads to better decisions and greater strength moving forward.
Steve, when you look at your record of achievements and the successes, and you are sitting alone reflecting upon this experience, certainly you will be pleased because it looked beautiful. Was there a moment of disappointment?
Oh, there are always moments of disappointment.
Can you share one with
usually in public education, oftentimes the disappointments are not always things that aren't done. Sometimes they're things that are done too slowly. I know that it's been picked up and used as a catchphrase by many, but essentially the idea is that every child only has 1 year to experience the grade that they're in. And any year that you fail to make a change that you know is needed and that is recognized as something that needs to be done by all is a year lost for that child. I and my team, the teachers and the buildings, we have an opportunity to come back again and go through that year again, whether it's a 3rd grade year or an 11th grade year, because as professionals, that's our work environment. For students, that's their life, and they won't have the opportunity to repeat that. So as we look at issues in particular, we're going through the process of building better teachers in the classroom by creating opportunities for them to work more effectively with their peers. So we put instructional coaches in place in our elementary buildings. And anyone who's ever had an opportunity to work with a coach as an adult knows how beneficial it can be to have that person who can watch you do whatever it is that you do. Swing a baseball bat, swing a golf club, teach a class.
We had Beth Bonner from
wonderful.
Twain yesterday. And,
great example. Yeah. But being able to put those people in place and to really afford our elementary teachers that opportunity to learn and grow from each other is a huge plus for us. We had wanted to do it earlier. And of course, we did it as quickly as we could. In place this year, not in place last year. Okay? Not as quickly as I would have liked to seen it happen, but certainly quick enough to provide that benefit for those teachers this year. We look at that at the secondary level, and we're still moving on that. We haven't gotten there yet. Secondary is far more complicated because of the departmental structure and the way courses are set up. And so we're still working on, from a structural standpoint, how to put something like that into place. So again, not as fast as I'd like to see it happen, but still moving forward. So again, I think most of the disappointments that I see right now are timing issues. We're working with the state on trying to determine where there are opportunities to innovate. One of the things that's very frustrating, and if you talk to students, they'll tell you about their frustration when they've mastered a topic, mastered a subject, and yet the state requires that you sit in the seat for 180 days for 50 minutes in order to get your Carnegie unit credit for it. Right. Mastery of the subject is not sufficient. You also have to serve the seat time. And there have been many, many discussions about how to move away from seat time and move towards mastery. It's wonderful that we've had those discussions. It's frustrating that they haven't moved further or faster than they have. Because again, knowing that those students have one experience at that grade level each year, there are some students that at the pace we're moving will never have an opportunity to go through an education system that's based on mastery. As adults, we know that's how we learn. We learn at our own pace, some slower, some faster. We know that once we've mastered whatever the topic is, whatever the subject is, then we're prepared to move on to the next one. And I think it's incumbent upon us as adults to recognize that that's how we learn. And it's not just us, it's students also. And how do we translate that into public education? That's an enormous hurdle. Disappointment that we're not further with it, but very interested in how we continue that discussion and how we work with the state to make some changes that I think will provide enormous benefits for students in Iowa.
Dr. Murley, now if we have 2 more minutes to conclude this wonderful conversation with you. And I would like to put you on the spot and say, look at the camera, talk to our audience, and tell them your vision for the future for Iowa City. Because we hear about new schools, about all this beautiful thing about the technology infrastructure. Can you address this to our
Sure. I think that one of the things that's important that we recognize is that we have one community. We have many municipalities, University Heights, Iowa City, Hills, North Liberty, Coralville, but we all live together in one community, and we're served in those multiple communities by one school district. And the next thing that we're going to embark on as a district is to develop one plan, and that plan will serve our district and serve our community. And I think that one of the most important things that we can do is work collectively on that to ensure that we want to make sure that every student in every classroom succeeds every day. And I think collectively everyone agrees that that's the direction that we want to move. And working with our board and through our board working with our community, I think that's the most important thing for us at this time.
Steve, we are so happy to have you for the second time this year. And I hope, of course, by August, we'll have you again for the next year.
Be delighted to come back.
And I'm sure that we'll get the pleasure of talking to you about the new school year, and we'll celebrate it together. This program will be aired on channel 21, your channel, and this will be on Saturday at 2:30 and Monday at 7 o'clock.
Wonderful.
And will be, of course, all the time on PATV. I think maybe I reversed. I meant Saturday and Monday on PATV. But your channel, it's a special listing because you have your own priorities. And so we are going to be on YouTube tomorrow. So and that's very important. On behalf of John Karhoff, Mike Peterson, Doug Cheney, and myself and all the audience, we thank you very, very much. It has been a delight working with you for a year. Thank you for the help that you gave to this program. We were able to cover 94% of the schools.
Wonderful.
During
That's
the
great
year.
news.
And thank you very much for everything you do.
Thank you for
And
helping us get the word out.
we're happy that you don't have more gray hair at the end of the year.
Thanks for helping us get the word out,
Thank
Hani.
you
We
very
appreciate
much.
that.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a very good night.